Stay strong. Don't cry. Oh no! It's oh god, ugly crying. No! Oh god! No cameras! I said no cameras!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Press X, the podcast, where our follow-up to E3 2018 continues, beginning with Bethesda and going through the rest of the press conferences and everything else that we saw at the show. My name's Paul, I'm your host. Alongside me today, I have Trevor Houston.
Heyo!
And James Paley.
Hello.
Guys, have you recovered from last week's podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Sort of, yeah, sort of. I mean, my body's recovered from E3. Like, I feel like I'm physically recovered from the grind that is E3. But yeah, we're still sort of we're winding down. We're winding down the E3 coverage, and yeah, ready to turn the page.
I'd say psychologically, I was changed by the show. You never really come back the same.
Get that E3 shell shock. That E3 PTSD.
Yeah, you could call it that. Mostly it's related to body odor, so...
Yeah.
PTBO, maybe.
Yeah. Post-traumatic stank disorder.
PTS.
I found it wasn't that bad this year. Like, I found last year that it was heavy in the stink department. There was a lot of filthy bastards that had not showered. I found this year was slightly improved. I only caught a couple of whiffs of stanky pits, but it wasn't as often as last year. I mean, I felt like there was a cleaner bunch at E3 this year.
Well, they had the AC cranked to 11 this year. Like, there were some spots in that building that were ice cold. Like, I don't really know how the power bill is going to be this month, but it's going to be substantial.
My teeth were chattering at the Sony booth. Like, I was freezing. I was like, "Where's the coffee so I can warm up?"
Yeah.
The 505 meeting room. The two presenters for Remedy's control or whatever were freezing. They had like coats on. Their like arms are crossed. They're like, "It's fine, guys. It's just part of the experience." They're like, "Okay."
Ironic that they couldn't control the temperature.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe we should just crack right into this because we got a lot of shit to talk about.
We do, and this is part 2 of the Press X Pod E3 special edition coverage, isn't it?
It is indeed. Last week in episode 21, we covered EA and Microsoft because Microsoft had 10,000 games at their press conference, and we had to talk about them all.
Right, and I feel this week that coming into this, before I opened our little doc here, I felt like, oh, there isn't that much to talk about this week until I opened the document, and I'm like, I said to James before we started recording, oh my god, there is a shitload of games we still have to get through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
So Bethesda,
raise your hand if you're stoked for Rage 2.
Playing the demo, of course, it's awesome. Like, the demo was fantastic. I loved everything that I played about it. It felt like, the big-ass guns. It was fast. It was smooth. I want to play that game. I'm fully pumped. It's funny because the first Rage, it was like, meh, it came and went, and I never really thought about it. Now that I've seen and I played a bit of Rage 2, I can't wait. And was that not an amazing press conference? I mean, I felt Bethesda, it was a title fight, and they were delivering power bombs after power bomb. Like, it was just a really great presser where it's like, here's all our franchises. We're just going to roll them out one at a time and show you everything new and blow you away. And that's exactly what they did.
It makes me a little worried for next year, actually, because they kind of blew out every franchise that they own this year. So next year, I don't really know how they're going to follow it up. But yeah, they sure did pull out every trick in the book. But yeah, Rage 2, like I've been describing it to people as if you took Doom and put it in an open world and then changed the metal to punk, it's that. And it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's,
I mean,
it's a ton of fun.
What else do you need? I mean, you take a great game and you make some slight adjustments that switch up the fucking tone. Like, that's great. Also, during the Rage 2 portion of the press conference, when like Andrew WK came out and he was like, "Hey, it's me, the party god. Let's rock our fucking socks off," and the whole audience just looked like scared, like they were like intimidated by this man and his like party presence, his like aura he emanates or whatever, and they couldn't fucking move or something. It's just like he was like rocking his fucking face off, and then you pan out to the audience and everybody's like,
I definitely noticed that in the audience. I mean, he's yelling, "Are you ready to rage?" And me and Trevor are like, "Yeah, motherfuckers!" But everybody else is just sitting there on their phone. They're like typing their live blog, like, Andrew WK rocks hard.
Yeah, it was kind of like my first thought was like, I wonder how much they paid him to come out here and just do one song. Like they roll him out with all the instruments, full band. Like, this isn't like just an acoustic set. He is rolled out there with his entire band, and he's going hard. He's going nuts right away. And it's just all us media stuffed up folks sitting there just, okay, this is cool.
They rocked so hard that the drummer wasn't wearing shoes. Like, I mean, that's pretty hard rocking. But I did see Andrew WK around the show a few times, just kind of cruising. So I don't know, maybe he's there of his own accord.
Yeah, maybe he's a big gamer, and obviously he's a Rage fan, apparently.
He was ready to rage. No doubt.
Ready to rage. More ways than one.
Did you play it too, James?
I didn't play the demo for Rage 2, no. All I've seen is like whatever they've shown over the airwaves, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Looks sick.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's crack on and keep moving here into Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I mean, more Doom. What's there not to like about more Doom? It was one of our most beloved games. Boy, was it last year or the year before? I just lose track of these things.
2016.
Was it 20? I think it was our game of the year. Did we pick that one?
Yep, it was game of the year.
So
beat out Hitman.
So what's there not? Yeah, edged out Hitman, Paul's beloved Hitman. What was that doing in the top 3? But I digress. But yeah, more Doom. What's there not to like about more Doom? I mean, we didn't really get to see a ton of new Doom footage, did we?
I mean, it looked like Doom. Possibly it looked like Doom bringing hell to Earth, which would be in line with the Doom canon, if I can say Doom canon.
Yeah, first it happens on Phobos or whatever, and sort of spills out through the crazy hell gates that they fucking erect. And then the sequel has it kind of spill onto the planet Earth and fuck the whole planet up, and yeah, that'll be super rad. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of a trend with the whole Bethesda show, is they kind of just were like, hey, how about more Doom? And people were like, yeah, sure, more Doom. And then they were like, hey, how about some more Prey? Yeah, okay, sure, some more Prey. But they didn't really dive too deeply into anything except for Fallout.
Well, and what was weird about all that is they showed us all these their press conference was amazing. They showed us all these wonderful things. Yet when you go to the Bethesda booth, there was literally 2 games to play. You got to play a 20-minute demo of Rage 2 and the Elder Scrolls mobile game, I think we got to play. Like, that was it. So you didn't get to put your hands on anything else. So it's kind of strange that you had this press conference with all these wonderful things and everybody's just gushing over Bethesda, and then you go to the booth and there's like nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
That's kind of par for their course too. I mean, usually they have a really cool booth, but there's not really anything to play. It's more of a showpiece than anything. Like they had a mock-up of a vault, and they were checking people into the vault, and giving them quantum Nuka-Cola quantums and stuff like that. But games-wise, it was a little thin.
Yeah, you're right. Last year was the same deal, if I recall correctly. It was just Wolfenstein and oh god, some other game I can't remember. But that's usually the trend they do follow. Is that it's all lots of sizzle and not a lot of steak.
We do love steaks here, and the stakes are very high in Wolfenstein Youngblood. Yeah,
I mean, I'm so sour on the DLC that I played through. I don't know if many other people played through the Wolfenstein DLC like Garrett and I did. And Garrett and I were left with like similar impressions where it was just like, oh, that's it? It was just sort of a reskin of what we had already played. There was really nothing new to the DLC. So it soured me on an otherwise fabulous experience. So I'm not as excited as I feel I should be for Youngblood.
Yeah, I get the sense that this is more on the leaning towards DLC than a new full title. Like, this isn't Wolfenstein 3. That's way far out there. So I don't really know what this is going to be, but I'm curious to see how the twin thing works out. If that's like I don't know if did they say that that's co-op? I'm assuming that means co-op.
I'm not too sure.
Why would you introduce that without it being like, hey, play together? Because that seems to be the trend in games where it's like, if they give you two side-by-side characters like that, where it's obviously two separate entities and they make a big deal of them both appearing in the fucking promo material, generally that means play them both at the same time, you and a buddy, normally.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there. Started reading ahead in the document, which you shouldn't do when you're hosting the podcast. How about the VR stuff? Did you guys think Cyberpilot looked any good?
I don't even really remember it. Like, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't really remember any of that.
Yeah. Well, in true Bethesda fashion, they were pouring the drinks incredibly, incredibly strongly. So some of the details are a little bit hazy for those of us that were at the presser. James, you may be able to fill in the gaps for us.
And I do recall, like, I had to go to I had a few too many of those Nuka rum and colas, and and I had to pee in the middle of the press and what a gong show just to get back inside, like the press conference, as you found out as well, Paul. We both had to.
Yeah, I did.
We both had to break the seal and make our way back into like this secured tent, which felt like a maze, just to get back to my seat, and felt like I was disrupting the entire show just to go pee. And so I missed a good chunk. I missed easily a good 15 minutes of the press conference. So I have a feeling that's when I missed this VR game.
Oh yeah.
I was getting pretty fast and loose with the scotch, so and I don't super care about Wolfenstein, so it was like, it's also a VR title. I was like, wow, that's a double pass for James. And then they showed the fucking Skyrim very special edition ad, and I perked right up.
Oh, and we called that shit. Like, I forget who I turned to and said immediately, we called this on the podcast.
You did?
Because we so did.
Skyrim on
a
your
fridge.
motherfucking fridge. That's right.
Yeah, you damn right we did. And I will throw Sean's soundbite about questing like a motherfucker right here if I must.
You open the left door and you grab your beer, which is ice cold because it's never left the fridge, and you just close that door. And meanwhile, on door number 2, you're questing like a motherfucker.
But yeah, has anybody tried that on an Alexa, if you have access to an Alexa?
I have an Alexa, but I haven't yet tried it. So what do I gotta do? Do I gotta just kind of like yell at my Alexa, hey Alexa, play Skyrim very special edition, and it'll just sort of prompt me to, like, how does this even work?
I assume that's how it works. I haven't tried it either, though.
I actually should have plugged it in right here, right beside me, and we could have tried it live on the pod as I fumbled away with the Alexa. Or it takes on a mind of its own and starts playing like Led Zeppelin songs. Like who knows what would happen? It sometimes has a mind of its own.
There's probably almost certainly 100% a Led Zeppelin song called Skyrim. So
you just
it's off the little known Led Zeppelin 8.
Right. B
yeah,
tracks.
The very, very, very little known. So do you guys have any strong opinions about Fallout 76? Like, is that on your guys' radar anymore, like, than it was previously after the fucking E3 show?
Not at all. It looks like it almost looks like a builder, like, really, and I have no interest in any kind of a builder, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm sure there's a crowd, there's a base out there that really wants to do that kind of shit. I don't. I just don't.
I mean, I want to try it, but I do have concerns. Like, the complete lack of human NPCs, that's kind of core to what a Fallout game usually is, and I think they're going to find that the core audience doesn't really want to play this thing, but I think there is an audience that will want to play it. Me being one of them, maybe, for a bit.
And,
we'll
like, again, like, when is this coming out? Like, it's coming out this year, right?
Yeah, they said November.
So, why wasn't it playable? Like, it puzzles me why a game that's so close to release, they aren't giving us, like, a little taste of it and making a little bit of it playable. I know I seem like I'm harping on this a lot, but come on. It's out this year. Let us play it. Like, just give us 15 minutes. That's it.
They're probably gonna drop, like, a beta pretty soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did say that.
And they need to, like, immediately, because Bethesda games are kind of known for being the tiniest bit buggy and
broken at launch.
A persistently online, heavily multiplayer-focused Bethesda game is going to be a complete fuckfest. Like, oh my god, we should be running a beta right fucking now if they want this to be even, like, 60% playable on launch day.
I get the sense that this baby is going to be coming in pretty hot. I watched the making of Fallout 76 documentary that was on NoClip on YouTube, which is Danny O'Dwyer's thing, formerly of GameSpot. And it was apparently filmed 6 weeks before E3, and the number of things that they didn't know in the documentary that they had then figured out by E3 that seemed like major gameplay systems was enormous. So I think maybe they're not really sure what this thing is either.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But you can nuke your friends, so it might be fun.
Yeah, because you know what'll happen then? Like, they might think, like, the guys at Bethesda will think, okay, we're going to make this really hard. We're going to make it really difficult and time-consuming to get nukes. And they're like, no, it's cool. So people will grab them, like, at once or twice a week or whatever, and it'll be a big deal when one drops. No. Those motherfuckers are going to be going off every 8 minutes. Whatever game system that your whatever server you're on is going to be like just mushroom cloud after mushroom cloud. The landscape is going to be an ever-shifting nightmare of fucking blast craters and literal fallout. Because, yeah, trust me, it's not as hard as you think it is.
No, it's gonna... The first nuke will be launched about 21 minutes after the game is released.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so... Yeah. I don't know. That might be okay. We'll see. Then they talked about Fallout Shelter and Elder Scrolls Blades.
Which I played a tiny bit of. Like, it's cool. It's a mobile game. It was really fluid and functional and a lot more responsive than I thought. But it's a mobile game. Like, okay. Not really what I was at the booth to play. Not something I was incredibly excited to play. But it'll probably do really well in the download department. So,
and then in the category of very little effort required but huge reaction received, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, Starfield, what is it? An RPG? Original IP? It should be... I don't know. Again, we didn't see a shitload.
A shitload? We saw a logo.
Yeah, so we saw nothing. I was trying to be polite, James. I was trying to be kind.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've only been hearing the name Starfield kicked around the rumor mill for like a fucking year now.
Yeah, I mean...
There's nothing fancy about that logo either.
Yeah.
Not the Elder
Thanks for
Scrolls
the
6
logo.
one either. Yeah, thanks, guys.
I find it interesting that they called both Starfield and ES6 next-gen titles. So...
Ooh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, he did specifically say next-gen RPGs, so I'm guessing that they're targeting whatever the next consoles are.
Right.
So yeah, I'm guessing at least 2020, 2021 for Starfield, and then probably 2 or 3 years after that for Elder Scrolls.
You know, I think you could be onto something. I really do. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like if they're talking next gen, then yeah, you're looking at... Well, the rumor is the PS5 will see it 2020. At least that's the latest, hottest rumor. So yeah, it would make sense if we saw Elder Scrolls 6 come out around the same time as a new PlayStation 5.
It's all right. We can play Fallout 76 until then, nuking each other and just digging the crater deeper and deeper. Like a game of one of those old Red Faction games, just digging into infinity.
Yeah, we can literally blast the planet into shards because we use so many nuclear bombs, and they'll have to like do a hard server reset because we like
so much yes.
It'd be fucking amazing.
All right, guys, what do you grade Bethesda's press conference?
I'm going to have to give it an A. Like, it was pretty solid from top to bottom. They gave us the goods and some more. I mean, I'm not going to punish Bethesda because they didn't give me anything to play. But the press conference, just evaluating the press conference alone, I'm going to give them an A.
We have an absentee ballot from Sean, who could not be here today, and he gives it a B+. He has absolutely no reasoning, but it's a B+.
I'm gonna go A-, just because, well, we did see a lot of pretty hot games, not a whole lot of release windows, and I like those. I like to see more of them. And yeah, that's all I got to say on the matter. I love release windows, and the more of them you give me, the happier I'm going to be. So, but what they showed us was pretty fucking hot, so that's good.
Well, I do like what Sean said beside the Elder Scrolls 6 announcement. And I quote, this is what Sean is saying here. He says, "Cue the boner. If boner persists longer than 4 years, please seek medical attention." So...
I'm pretty sure his boner is going to last longer than 4 years.
Yeah, sounds like we're going to have to get some medical attention for Sean.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty hyped about the Elder Scrolls 6 announcement.
Or some Guinness World Records attention. Oh!
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go a little lower than you guys. I'm gonna give it a B.
Oh.
Because, I was ready to rage, liked Andrew. We did see a guy that looked exactly like Geralt, but wasn't trying to. Todd Howard was great. He was very charismatic, I thought, more so than he has been in the past. And the announcements were good, but the games that they showed, I wasn't like blown away with. So I'm gonna give it a B.
All right, there you have it.
Next up, Square Enix or Square Enix. Take your pick.
Right. We debated this one. Is it Enix
whatever it
or
is?
Enix?
It's a Skronix. Okay.
you decide. It is how you want it to be.
Did you say Skronix?
Yeah, it's Skronix. It's my new. I just decided now. This is how it's pronounced forever. Sorry.
That sounds like a drug to help you quit smoking.
Yeah. See your doctor about Skronix today. Side effects may include liver spots, erectile dysfunction, rampant diarrhea, bone softening, organ melting, and death. But,
and out-of-body experiences.
Yeah, well, you know.
Because you got to slot death into the middle there somewhere so that it doesn't seem that shocking.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's failure of the marketing's part. Okay.
We can workshop that. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I played it. It's more Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
and
is a good thing.
Yeah, the last Tomb Raider was fantastic. So this one, it seems like having Eidos Montreal developing it rather than Crystal Dynamics isn't going to be a big deal. The cinematics looked great. The action was fun. A lot of cool puzzles, and there was a lot of underwater stuff in the demo they were showing. That seemed pretty good. So I am cautiously optimistic about Tomb Raider, even though I think it'll get crushed in sales by Spider-Man.
Oh, is that coming out around the same time?
They are both mid-September.
I mean, I think it'll still do well, but yes, Spider-Man will edge Shadow of a Tomb Raider for sure. I think it'll still do well. I think there's room for both to thrive.
I agree. I think the narrative stuff in Tomb Raider is a little bit more serious, especially with them going down the shadowy path this time around. So Spider-Man usually being a bit more tongue-in-cheek. So yeah, I would definitely look forward to this. It's on my to-do list.
As is mine.
James, I'll take your silence as a thumbs down for Tomb Raider.
It's not thumbs down. God, it's not even on my pile of shame. It's not even on my fucking radar. I'm like tangentially aware that Tomb Raider games exist. Like somebody who's like, hey, a Tomb Raider's coming out. That's cool. That's like as much brain power as I've even invested in the whole franchise for the last decade and a half. Yeah. And you guys have been really quick to tell me about how totally fucking rad the series is. So I will add that to my list of AAA games that I really should have played by now and start playing more Tomb Raider.
Well, and if you got, which I believe you did because we all got one of those Game Pass things from Xbox at E3, I believe both Tomb Raiders, or at least one of them, is available on Game Pass right now.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't work for me. I don't have an Xbox One.
That would be, I guess that'd be an issue. That'd be a barrier.
It's a small roadblock.
Wait, does Game Pass work on PC?
Does not.
Huh.
Yeah.
What? You'd think it should on Windows, right?
Yeah.
Windows 10.
Nope. I tested it very specifically. I got 2 Game Pass things. I tried one, did nothing, gave the other one to a friend of mine.
All right.
Yeah. Shit.
Well, screw you, Microsoft. If we hadn't already graded you, we'd take you down a few notches for not putting Game Pass on PC.
Definitely a 0.5 reduction. Definitely a 0.5.
Yeah. We go from a B+ to a B.5. Yeah. Anyways, moving on with Scronix. There was some Final Fantasy XIV DLC, which I don't really understand or want to talk about. And then The Amazing Adventures of Captain Spirit.
Right. I played that last night.
Me too.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was short, but they've got me. I'm all in for the rest of the episodes. They've got me. I want to see what happens to this little poor bastard.
Yeah, and apparently it ties into Life is Strange 2 as well. So
yeah, I'm interested to see how they do that.
Yeah, but it's a lot like the Life is Strange series. Really, really well done. You really feel for the kid, and lots of hard decisions in that 2 hours. So well worth it because it's absolutely free.
Right. There's no excuse. Just go download it, and then you can follow the awesome adventures of Captain Spirit. And I don't want to talk too much about it because I'd hate to spoil the experience about it. But definitely have a lot of thoughts on it. Maybe that's something to discuss on the next podcast when we're done with our E3 wrap up. But go download it. It's and if you even remotely enjoyed Life is Strange, you'll definitely like Captain Spirit.
Yeah. if you're like me and you kind of watched the trailer and went, oh, I don't know about this powers bullshit. It seems kind of lame. They make it pretty cool. So
They really do.
Yeah, it's good. Dragon Quest 11.
Meh.
James, do you have words for this?
Yeah, I'm hype as fuck, but I mean, like, I love Dragon Quest in all of its forms, now and forever. It's a fabulous, fabulous fucking RPG series.
Wait, there's 11 of them?
Yeah, and you
haven't touched any of them.
Well,
Not one.
they're pretty savage and unforgiving and grindy, but full of like heart and personality, and they're the prototypical blueprint for all RPGs that exist. Like the original Dragon Quest was like the basis on which so many imitators were fucking modeled. And unlike the other ones that have like felt the need to like dress themselves in goofy fucking gimmicks or weird nonsense, the Dragon Quest series is just been building on a stable foundation for like 3 decades now of solid gameplay and
slimes.
cool world building. And slimes, yes, and slimes. But like not a lot new for E3 from Dragon Quest XI. In fact, not a lot new from Square Enix or Scronix in general. Not a lot of new shit, and that's what I need to survive the E3 season, and they fucking starved me. Thanks.
Yeah. I see Babylon's Fall highlighted here. I'll be honest, the name is not even ringing a bell. I mean, there are so many things this year.
So here's what Babylon's Fall gave us. They showed a trailer which was like a history lesson type slideshow thing for a world that I don't think exists yet. It was just like, oh, at this time this happened, and at this time this happened. There was this really interesting, or it would be an interesting history lesson if we knew what world it was connected to, or showed us any gameplay or any video footage of any kind, or anything whatsoever.
Oh, is this the Platinum one? Like the Platinum Games one?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, that would automatically tell me more about it than I know now.
Google says Babylon's Fall Platinum Games Inc.
Oh, well then it'll be a fucking wacky ass action game.
Yeah.
Draped in history that we don't understand.
Great. That's one of the best parts of Nier, so I'll say check mark.
Yeah.
Now interested, even if the name was super duper generic.
Yeah, so then Nier came out on Xbox One with a version that I'm pretty sure is just like the version.
Mm-hmm.
Octopath Traveler coming next month.
Gimme.
Yeah. Hoping to get that for review. If I don't, I'll just buy it anyway.
Yeah, same here.
Because I want it real fucking bad.
Yeah, when we were talking about July releases, just get people to put their names in on games that they want. And when I added my name, I said, just add my name to the Octopath sweepstakes, because I'm pretty sure about 40 people are looking for it.
It'll go to the highest bidder.
I think it's only 3 so far, and you and I are 2 of them. So,
oh man.
Well, if we have to fight to the death, so be it.
Yeah, we'll have to put you guys in a cage in the COG Thunderdome and battle to death. I think that's the only way to resolve this.
Find the video on COGconnected's YouTube channel later this month.
Yeah. Probably about like mid-July we'll post one up with a little like rest in peace obituary piece for the person who died. Hint, it will not be me.
Now there's a demo available, or there was a demo available on the Switch. Did you guys play that demo?
God damn right I did.
And
it's fucking awesome. It's a really unique structure because you can pick any one of the 8 stories, Octopath, 8 paths, 8 stories. Pick any one you want and just kind of progress as far as you want in the time allowed in the demo, and that will carry over into the main game. But yeah, more of what was seen in the first demo they came out with. It's more strategic than I was expecting it to be, especially in the combat. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of flexibility in how you approach boss battles, and people will be coming up with challenge runs and things like that. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Plus, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, the tilt shifting, that effect that they use for basically all the visuals, just that forever. Thanks. Just that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Keep it coming. Just Cause 4 sounds like another Just Cause game.
Hey, I watched
explosions. Yeah,
I watched the theater demo, and they, what was it? They have tornadoes that are gonna come in and like fuck the environment.
Nice.
And they have like, because they have those like personal rocket things that you can like launch onto objects and like shoot them around. They not only do they have more of those, but they also have these like deployable parachute things. So you can like levitate something off the ground and then put rockets on the back, so you can turn like a shipping crate into like a rocket basically that you can ride on top of.
All right. That sounds like some nonsense.
Yeah, and I mean, like, because that was the nice thing about the theater demo. They weren't like, oh, let's go into the story. They're like, no. We're going to spend the whole time fucking around with the game physics and blowing shit up. I was like, yes, thank you.
I mean, that's what every player who's ever played a Just Cause game does.
Yeah, like,
literally
why
exclusively.
would you not? Like,
yeah. Plus some of the best explosions in any game, I would argue.
bar none. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 before we discuss whatever the fuck the Quiet Man is?
Yeah, I like Sean's comment. The fuck is this exactly? Well,
okay.
And we had quite a field day mocking this one back at the Airbnb.
Which we will get to.
Okay.
Which we will get to.
Which we will get to.
First, I'll give you a very quick breakdown of the Kingdom Hearts 3 showings. So, the good is that they showed off a whole bunch of different levels and worlds, and each of them is done in their own distinct graphical style, and that's pretty impressive. So, like, Toy Story looks like Toy Story World, and like looks like the film, and like the Enchanted offshoot, or not the Enchanted, was it Tangled? Tangled looks like the film, and like the Pirates of the Caribbean one is rendered in a more realistic fashion, although, I mean, still kind of cartoony, but like pretty good. And so on and so forth, which is great. A lot of the trailers they showed during the press conferences, for some reason, and I don't know if I caught a lot of support for this, for some reason, the frame rate for the combat scenes in all the trailers they showed was fucked.
Yeah.
Like the story sections and the CG video stuff, where it's just like all the other cutscene bits and the dialogue bits looked great, but in the trailers the frame rate was fucked for the combat, which is weird because when you watch the actual gameplay demos, butter smooth.
Weird.
Yeah. Like, because I was talking to somebody and it was like, I thought there was just a problem with my phone. It's like, no, man, I was in the theater for the Microsoft trailer and it looked just like that there too. But like, yeah, they showed like 4 different trailers for Kingdom Hearts 3 throughout E3. And oh god, the story is so, oh man, so much stuff about darkness and hearts and Heart of Darkness and god, right? Like, it's just that's the next direction, you know. It's gonna be Sora and Donald and Goofy out in the jungle, fucking being hunted by a lion, or they're hunting the lion or whatever. It's gonna be a very deep, introspective fucking journey. But no, it's actually just a junior high schooler's fucking notebook scribbles turned into a fucking script. And like, I played the original 2 games when I was like, 19 or 20, and I feel like it was a little much for me then, So I'm legit scared of what the narrative looks like now.
I mean, I wish I had any interest whatsoever, but every single one of those 4 trailers that they came out with, it pushed me farther away from wanting to play this thing. I don't know. I was just so confused by what was happening on screen. It just made absolutely no sense to me. I'm hoping to be proven wrong in January, but
oh, you won't. There's an amazing disconnect where like the emotional impact of those games is really profound, but the writing is a complete clown car crash. And there's like that never gets better, but like you're either on for the ride or you're not. Like this is just all there is to it.
Would it be better or worse if I played the whole game with the Benny Hill theme song playing in the background?
Yeah.
Thanks,
In case
worse.
people didn't know.
Worse.
Worse.
I feel
Okay.
like the sound of Benny Hill for like the hours it would take to finish that game would drive you to literal insanity by the end of it, which we don't want.
What might drive me insane is The Quiet Man. What the fuck is this?
I don't know. I have no idea.
So hopefully everybody's seen the trailer by now. If you haven't, I'll give you a blow by blow. So it's a city at night, and this part's in like live action. That this is filmed with actual actors and shit. No CG or anything. So it's a big, beautiful, brightly lit city at night, and we zero in on this guy with a haircut that covers one side of his face. You know, some would call it like an emo haircut if you were of such a mind. And he's dressed all in black, and he's carrying a paper bag full of what looks like, I don't know, food or something. It's about that size. And he walks into an alleyway, all slow and menacing like, and these 3 Hispanic gentlemen in matching clothing say to him, "You got the wrong alleyway, Holmes." And instead of responding, he points to his right ear, indicating that he cannot hear them. And then he slowly puts down the paper bag of food, and then it switches to in-game footage as he beats the dog shit out of these 3 people. I'm not leaving any part of the trailer out. That is literally what happens. He doesn't respond, he doesn't do anything, he just taps his ear, puts down the food, and fucks up these 3 guys. And then
not just a regular beating, a beating them to dog shit beating.
Yeah,
I'm literally watching the trailer right now, and you're blow by blow. You're completely accurate as to what happens.
Yeah. So after the ass kicking, it goes back to the live action footage, and I guess does he pick up the food again and then leave? And then it's all like,
he drops the paper bag on one of the now unconscious, possibly dead victims.
Oh, that's so much worse. And then they say more details to come in August. I don't want more details. I want all the details. I want to know not only what that scene was about, but why you guys felt the need to make that the debut trailer. You know?
I don't want any more details. I just want to play it right now.
Yeah. Just tell us nothing and just give us the game so we can see perfect. How accurate our estimation of this.
Yeah. I mean, that's possibly the most interesting thing they showed at their whole thing.
Ooh.
So yeah, maybe we should just give let's give Scronix a grade.
Well, yeah. Well, what did Sean? Let's start with Sean's grade.
Absentee ballot. Sean gave it a C+.
Fair.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go higher than that. I'm gonna give it a B.
Oh, that's pretty solid.
I mean, Quiet Man is dragging it up quite a bit because just for the sheer WTF factor. Tomb Raider's great. Captain Spirit was great. So excited for Octopath. I mean, they didn't have any missteps, and it was 30 minutes. Tightly packaged. Boom, 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 boom. Get in, get out. Bingo. Give it a B.
I'm going to echo Sean's grade because while I'm excited for a lot of this shit, like, even Captain Spirit, even though I've totally so far missed the Life is Strange boat. It looks amazing. Dragon Quest XI looks amazing. Octopath looks amazing. Babylon's Fall could be really good. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks great. Just Cause 4 looks great. But we knew about all of this shit before E3. Like the only and like Captain Spirit, they dropped that reveal at the Xbox conference.
That's right.
And Kingdom Hearts 3 we've known about forever. Octopath we've known about forever. The only new shit we got were Babylon's Fall, which we know nothing about, and The Quiet Man, which maybe they should have reshot that trailer. So in terms of the conference, oh yeah, C+ at the highest.
Trev.
Yeah, I feel like Square's, out of all the pressers, it left the, it didn't leave really much of a lasting impression with me. But I am excited about a few of the games offered there. I'm gonna go with, you know what? I'm gonna go with James. I'm gonna go with Sean. I originally was gonna score it lower, but I'll go C+. I think C+ is fair. But I also feel that, why are they bothering having a press conference to begin with? I mean, Square Enix doesn't need to do this. Skronix doesn't need to do this.
Yes, this is above Skronix.
I think arguably Skronix isn't actually having a press event so much as just putting out a video of cool stuff.
Yeah.
That takes a half hour of your day and then you go on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ubisoft was up next. They started off with pandas dancing.
Yeah, they always do something fucked up at their pressers, right? Like they're all, at least you got to hand it to Ubi. They always deliver an exciting and entertaining presser that will leave you scratching your head, and there's always a few fucked up moments, and the pandas are definitely one of them.
Yeah,
I love that panda. I love that panda so much. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, it was good.
That intro sequence was fucking awesome.
It was fantastic, and just so French. Like nobody else could have pulled that off.
Yeah.
Let's dive in. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Just like last year, it looks incredibly cool. I wish we got to see some of the behind the closed door demo that was available to not very many press, but it was available. We didn't get in there, but yeah, the trailer looks super, super cool.
I did talk to a few people who saw it in the behind closed doors, and they said it seems really, really early. Still seems like it's mostly tech demo at this point, so not surprising that they weren't showing too much other than a trailer.
I found Sean's comments pretty interesting. He's this is what he says: trailer looked cool and all, world looks massive, excited to see what people are saying. Whatever is going on here could change the way we look at gaming. So I haven't heard too many of those comments, but that is interesting.
Well, they included a tiny crowdsourced art budget, which caught a lot of backlash, actually. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his company, I can't remember what they're called, but like Hit Record or whatever. They're like spearheading this initiative where like you can submit or create art for the game that'll be used as in-game assets. And some people were like, so are they getting paid in money or exposure? And Levitt was quick to clear up that yes, they do have a budget allocated for paying these people for their contributions. However, a second report brought up that it wasn't like a super big budget. So if you contribute to this project, you might not be getting much in the way of compensation, but you will be getting paid if your art makes it into the game.
You'll get some of those Ubi bucks. Or, you know, you can...
Yeah, I think it's like, I heard 50 grand. I don't know if that's what they're actually like allocating for this, but like, I mean, even if you're like, get a couple $100 for putting a piece of art in, like, that's cool.
Well, I know this is kind of a trope in the whole art industry, but you would get some major exposure if your art was in, you know, a big tentpole Ubisoft title like Beyond Good and Evil 2. Even if you're not getting paid that much, somebody's going to look at your art, and if they think it's cool, they're probably going to look you up. So,
maybe, but if it's like 600 people who end up like contributing to this thing, then I feel like the effect of the exposure is somewhat diminished.
Sure.
Right. If it's some bit of tiny graffiti on the side of a wall that's actually art, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what kind of an impact that has. I mean, I've played so many of these games where you see things and you just kind of walk on by. You're like, huh, that's cool. Anyway, you walk on, So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still, it's it'll look good on the resume.
I get
Holy shit, will it ever?
the reason this doesn't bother me at all if people are not getting paid that much is that people are more than willing to go out there and make, spend hundreds of hours making a mod for Skyrim that they're never going to get paid for. They're never really going to get credit for because it's just under a username. So, I don't really see what the problem is here. They're not forcing people to do anything. So, yeah, I think it's a neat thing that they're going out on a limb and doing something weird like the new Ubi does.
I think the initial backlash is probably more about sort of like creating the controversy, because I know a lot of artists are pretty sick of doing work for exposure.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But like at the same time, people are pretty willing to create shit for free for franchises they love. I think it's just weird that Ubisoft is kind of banking on people developing that fan-like adoration for a game which for sure doesn't exist yet. It's kind of doing it out of order. I think what they should have done would be to like release the game and say, okay, for the next patch or whatever, we're gonna put a whole fuck ton of your art into this game, and so people could like play it and like make something that reflected the experience somewhat. Because then people will just have that creative energy just sort of pent up, and they're like, oh fuck, I love this game so much, I want to make art about it. And they're like, cool, we'll also pay you a tiny bit, and that would be amazing, But now it's like, seems kind of backwards. I don't know.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. In any case, I guess I'm looking forward to seeing more of this.
I am too.
The first
actually,
Beyond
honestly.
Good and Evil was
3.
incredible, but that was, bloody 10 years ago at this point, if not more. Like, when did that come out? It was like mid-2000s, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Like original Xbox era, I feel like. Anyways, there's also a new Trials game. Looks like more Trials. And
yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's tough. It's not really my thing. Like I played the demo very quickly. And it consisted of me trying to wheel up this hill, attempting to pull a 360, and then just kind of like hanging there and tumbling back down the hill, and then just trying it again and tumbling. I was just so bad at this game, but it was pretty, and the Trials fans, for lack of a better word, that were kind of hanging around where I was playing this thing and brutally mocking me, they seem to be completely enthralled by it. So, yeah, I think fans will really like this. Is it my thing? I'll play it a little, not a lot.
Well, it's been a few years since the last Trials game, so people are pretty ready.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, like, even if there's not a lot of hype, it's gonna get received really well when it comes out.
Absolutely.
So good for you guys.
Yeah.
Division 2. Trev, I think you're the only one who played it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It felt like a lot like Division 1. But it felt really flushed out, and it was enjoyable. We played a 4-player co-op, which I believe you can watch that video on our YouTube channel. You can watch me fumbling around and using shotguns when I should be using assault rifles.
You are getting so much shit for that.
Oh, fuck. Of course I am. Like, of course. Anyway, you can watch this video. We have it on COGconnected.com. COGconnected on Twitter, COGconnected on Facebook, COGconnected on YouTube. I am your company, man. Do. But yeah, I enjoyed the 4-player co-op. It was fun. And yeah, it was challenging. I found it was, for a demo, it was particularly challenging, especially towards the end when we were fighting enemies that really packed a punch. And smart AI. I mean, if there's one thing that really stuck out with me, I found the AI really smart, flanking you, attacking you from every which angle. The verticality played a big role in the demo. Guns felt great. Everything felt and controlled smoothly. I feel like Division's a game that just keeps improving, and I think it's gonna maintain that trend when Division 2 arrives. It just keeps getting better.
Did they give a date for that?
I don't know. I am not sure.
February 22nd?
Probably did. Yeah. When everything else comes out.
Damn you, February 22nd. Yeah, I'm sad I didn't get to play it because Division 1 is mechanically, I think it's a really solid title. So if they fleshed out everything that was wrong with Division 1, I think that it could be a big hit for them, especially when people are pissed about Destiny. Even if that anger is lessening with Forsaken coming out.
Which, I think we already talked about that, but that was great. That was great, that demo. The Forsaken, I think I may be back on the Destiny 2 hype train when that comes out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Strong words.
There's some Donkey Kong DLC for Mario and Rabbids.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be Donkey Kong. More interesting, Skull and Bones.
Another demo I really enjoyed, and I played it last year at E3, and it was good, it was solid, but I still felt it was, rough around the edges. I think this time around they've really refined the game. It was enjoyable, and what I liked about it, it was easy to pick up. Like, it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be easy to pick up but difficult to master. The ships controlling the ship wasn't as cumbersome and as complex as I felt it was going to be. I mean, anytime you go into these big games, you're like, oh man, I gotta man this entire pirate ship and coordinate shooting cannons from the front and from the side, and I got a whole crew, and I gotta manage sails, and I gotta manage the maps and where I'm going, and it can be a lot, but I never felt overwhelmed in this demo at all. I was able to pick up and play and be effective, and I was sinking other AI ships within 5 minutes of the demo, which also I believe you can see that video on our YouTube page. I am definitely a little bit more competent in that one than I am in the Division 2 demo. But I enjoyed it. I think it's, dare I say it, it was a much better. I enjoyed that experience far more than any experience of Sea of Thieves that I got. I just found Skull and Bones just crushed Sea of Thieves. It really did. For me, it did.
I mean,
and that's just a demo.
I mean, I did mention last episode that I saw a timid-looking Sea of Thieves dev in line to play Skull and Bones, lining up. Like, what are you doing, bud? That shirt gets you to the front of the line to play your competitor's game, I think.
It should, man. Like, absolutely. If only for the grim satisfaction on the faces of the Ubisoft guys. We're like, oh yeah, you want to play this for sure. You can skip the line, buddy. You gotta see this.
They need all the help they can get with game mechanics. Seeing as Sea of Thieves has none.
There's mechanics. You can grab a thing and lift a thing and shoot a thing and swim and slash a thing with your swords.
All right, you got me.
Yeah, listen to all those mechanics. All right, that's all the things.
How about Starlink? Sean says that he doesn't want fucking toys on his controller. I disagree. Well, I know that he does. I mean, yes, he does. Know that
he's
he does.
Liar, pants on fire. He wants a little plane on his controller so he can zoom it around the house and make sound effect noises with his son. Yeah, right. Of course he does. Yes, he wants this. I mean, I played it. The actual demo is just like meh. Like, it's okay. The graphics are nothing to write home about. Is there an appetite for Toys for Life games? I don't know. Boy, as a parent, if I had a little 10-year-old boy that wanted to play this, and I'm quickly doing the math, $79 for the game, probably includes a plane, and he's gonna want all the add-ons. Like, do I really want another Skylanders type experience where I'm soaking at least $100 into this thing for what really amounts to gameplay that's at best mediocre?
Yeah. We got video of this one on the site too. Don't know if you're noticing a trend there. Ubisoft gave us very good access to Capture this year, which was awesome.
Yeah, they did. You got a shout out to Ubi for really taking care of the COGconnected crew and really giving us Capture to pretty much everything they had on display. It was cool.
Quite literally everything they had on display. Do you guys want to talk about transference at all?
I never played it. Last year I played a little bit of it. It's a VR game. It was a bit buggy last year when I played it. It was spooky. It was a spooky VR game. Definitely something Sean would shit his pants if he was playing. But I didn't get to play it this year, so I don't know how it's progressed.
Yeah, I didn't play it either, so I don't know.
I just know that, like, at the press conference, like, I guess Elijah Wood or whatever was, like, there on stage being like, yo, this is Transference. It's gonna be great. Play the game and shit. And everybody was all, woo, Elijah Wood. And, I mean, the game itself uses, like, there was, like, a lot of live action shit in the trailer, which automatically gets my, like, doubt sensors up and running. I don't fuck with live action in any element of gameplay if I can help it, unless it's like all live action. Like there's like some Dr. Decker game that came out recently that's like just video footage and like conversations and shit like that. That's fine, I guess.
What about Night Trap?
Night Trap,
like, I mean, what can you say?
Night Trap is a whole other discussion. That's like a whole podcast. We could do a whole Night Trap
podcast.
Let's
table that one for now. Let's go back to Elijah Wood. We didn't, or I didn't see the conference because we were in transit. Did Elijah Wood walk out to that "They're Taking the Hobbits to Isengard" song?
No.
God damn it! I thought I stipulated that needed to happen.
Yeah, if you're gonna ever appear on stage at a gaming show again, that song must play at pretty incredible volume, or else, like, what are you even doing there? Cancel the plane ticket, stay in your fucking house, just don't even do it. Okay? But yeah, no, he came out and he was like, yo, it's Transfers, it's gonna be great. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course. He was just his usual weird, timid self. Yeah, I don't know, it looks okay. I mean, I will hold my judgments until I get more gameplay footage.
Oh or boy, like the yawn tells the story. Transference, it's gonna suck.
Hey, I don't know that. I might play it, it'll be just the fucking bomb diggity. Or I'll play it and it'll be hot garbage. You just will see, right? Like,
did Elijah at least leave the stage by putting on the Ring of Power?
No.
I know. So many missed opportunities.
Okay, any thoughts on Odyssey? Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Any thoughts?
You know, I know people loved Origins and loved it so much, but I really struggled to get into that game, and I feel that Odyssey is more of that, just bigger and more of it. And I'm not sure I want that.
Yeah, I have no interest. I mean, I have no interest at all. But, I mean, if you're a fan of the franchise, you've got to be happy about the fact that this game's had 3 years dev time. So even though it's coming out, a year after the previous, Assassin's Creed game. So, at least they've been working on this thing for 3 years. But, yeah, I'm with Sean here. He does say he's a bit disappointed it's moved back into that yearly cycle, which I agree. Like, what are they doing? Like, they could wait. But,
Hey,
Bill's got to be paid.
You know what, though? This time, you get to play as a lady if you so desire, and that's gonna be cool.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for that kind of freedom of choice in any fucking game whatsoever. The more freedom I have to shift or fuck with or choose different things for my avatar in any game, the better.
That's
if
true.
If you're gonna put me in gruff middle-aged white guy shoes and nothing else for your game, I automatically like it just a tiny bit less.
I mean, I did play as Evie Fry in Syndicate, and that was pretty cool. That was actually one of the better AC games, now that I think about it. But, I'm a little sad that they went away from Bayek, because I think his character and his growth was one of the best parts of Odyssey, or, Origins, so... Yeah, it's a little sad to see them just kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, no. Ubisoft can't. They're like a shark. They have to keep making Assassin's Creed games, or else they'll drown. So,
Sharks, of course, notorious for making Assassin's Creed games.
yeah, that's like all they do. Some people say swimming. They're wrong. It's entries in the AC franchise.
Shall we grade this sucker?
Yep.
Yes. What's your scores?
I will go with a B. I will give them a B. A solid B score. There's some things I'm looking forward to, some other things that didn't excite me, but I think B's fair.
You know, I'd go with a B as well. I was gonna say a little lower than that, but then I remembered the panda. That really was the icing on the cake, because that's just so fucking weird and fantastic. And props to them for continuing to amp up how weird the Just Dance segment is every year.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Solid B. It was good, you know. Again, not as many release windows as I like, which is one for every game is my ideal, you know. But like, kids just can't have that for your E3s. So I guess that, but they brought a lot of shit out, which is cool. Although a lot of it is stuff that we kind of like knew about. Like we knew about Beyond Good and Evil 2. We knew about Mario Rabbids DLC. We knew about Skull and Bones. We knew about Transference. We knew about Starlink.
True.
So like a lot of it was kind of a rehash, but it was good rehash. So, you know, B, solid B.
Sean, I'm too good for your podcast. Petraschuk also chimed in on our doc with a B. So that's
right,
B's across the board.
B's across the board. Yeah, there we go.
Board of B's. All right.
So moving on to Sony, I think I'm most interested to hear what James thought of the conference, since Trev and I were at the show and James was at home.
Okay. My initial reaction was pretty up and down, because the stuff they showed of The Last of Us 2 was fucking amazing,
yes.
right? Like I was blown away.
Yeah.
And then they did the intermission, which I loathed because it killed the momentum completely. And we didn't even find out what was happening until afterwards. But while you guys were like changing venues and walking through this cool, beautiful hallway of these amazing sights and sounds, I had to watch a bunch of talking heads puke up the most uninspired, bland, vanilla-scented fucking dialogue about the games I've ever heard in my fucking life. It was nauseating. I'm sure all these guys are respected industry professionals with a lot to say, who are really great at their jobs, but unfortunately, because they were doing this for Sony, it was as fucking mushy and toothless as it could possibly be, and it was an agonizing 15 minutes. And then we got back, and it was just like rock solid, hit after hit after hit for the whole rest of the fucking thing, and I loved it. But that intermission was a dry, tugging hand job in the middle of an otherwise enchanting night.
Yeah, it was weird. They all threw us. I mean, first of all, it was really hot. So and they had us standing on those stairs for what seemed like an eternity, just to get into this sort of mock church that's underneath a tent, sort of replicating one of the scenes from the game, which we all saw of the demo. But we're all standing there, and our feet are sore, and we're like, oh fuck, do we have to stand here for like 2 hours? And you know, of course, there's a guy that's like 6'6" standing in front of me, so I can't even really see the screen. So I was annoyed when we got into that tent, because I'm like, fuck, I can't even see this Last of Us trailer properly. I'm standing here, and like, so the whole sort of church thing was weird to me. But yeah, the trailer, what I saw was fantastic, but it was weird. We didn't need to be in there, because they did take forever to shuffle us off into this sort of big dome, which had like this wraparound gigantic 4K screen, where they could have showed us Last of Us on that screen, which would have been amazing. Like, why they didn't just have us all in there to begin with is beyond me. So yeah, so we heard about it was ruining the intermission, just killed the momentum, and everybody was just raging online back at home. But yeah, it was just us. It was just sort of moving us into our seats into that big dome.
Even as people who were attending the show itself, the intermission was way too slow. Like, everybody was sitting down for probably 10 minutes before the show got going again, is way too slow. But I do give Sony credit for trying to do something different, for not just doing the typical stage show and trying to make it interesting. Obviously, they whiffed on the intermission part, but as an attendee, I thought the experience was, for the most part, good.
Yeah, it was definitely cool, but completely unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just was.
What is necessary is for me to get The Last of Us 2 as soon as possible, because holy fuck, that just like blew my hair back. And the guy standing next to us in the church trying to live blog with his laptop balanced on one hand, which was maybe the funniest thing I've seen. Yeah, just the quality of the animation was tremendous. Like,
it was so good that people were accusing them of faking the gameplay.
Yep.
So
they were like, "Oh, that can't possibly be real." Like, whatever.
I watched the Digital Foundry video, and if you haven't watched Digital Foundry before, they are like technical experts, so they can
they break them down. They rip apart these things and break them down.
Yeah, so they're taking apart the whole demo, and there's apparently a technique that they Naughty Dog confirmed that they're using in The Last of Us that allows transitions between animations to become much more smooth, and the game can kind of predict what's going to happen and feed up animations on the fly. So, things like that part in the demo where Ellie's running and picks up a bottle as she runs past and chucks it at somebody's head. Like, that's all happening in the moment. That's not a canned animation. That's the game generating it on the fly. So, I'll link that video because it was very interesting.
Yeah, that's plus that moment where like she like puts a knife in the throat, like right under the chin of that middle-aged woman. It was just like
brutal.
Holy fuck.
And
or the machete, or when she like lops the dude's head. Well, I don't know if she cleared his head off, but she did some damage when she just jammed that machete into the guy's
wedged
neck.
it right in there.
Like,
holy.
Like, it's a whole new level of brutality, but it was great. Like, you really felt that you're in this world, and it was a brutal world, and Ellie is just this badass who has a lot of tricks up her sleeve. Like, we saw explosive arrows, using machete, pretty cool melee combat. What else? She's chucking bottles. She's holding people hostage. Like, we saw it all. Like, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really fantastic demo.
I'm glad to see that the gameplay is keeping up with the storytelling, because arguably that's been where Naughty Dog has fallen down in the past, is that the storytelling is so high quality that any little nicks in the gameplay bring it down a notch. But I mean, I'll tell you what, the transition between the dance sequence and the grittiness of the real world, I just had chills running up and down my spine while that was going on. It was it's a super effective trailer, and holy crap, looking forward to that.
Yep.
So, Ghost of Tsushima.
Give me this game right now.
Day fucking one. Yeah. I know I've heard some naysaying from people. Well, Alex Everett. He's pretty ready to be like, oh man, well, it's not coming out on Xbox, so fuck that game. But okay, it's like a high quality, high budget, high production samurai film, but it's also a game that you're like have agency over. So all these amazing sequences where you're watching this dude do that crazy quick draw trick where like the sword leaves the scabbard or the sheath and then like slices the dude right from like nutsack to navel, like to neck. Like that's amazing. That's an amazing move, and it's just like, and it's all like blends so seamlessly together, and like the sheer level of atmosphere they've like packed into like every fucking scene they showed at E3 was nothing short of phenomenal. And yeah, I am just super duper duper fucking jazzed for this game.
So
whenever it comes out.
Let me amp you up a little bit more, because I saw the theater demo and talked to the creative director a little bit. And I mean, the whole premise of why they came up with this game specifically was a love of Kurosawa films and that samurai kind of stillness among motion idea. So I can confirm that there is, in fact, I don't know if you noticed in the demo that they showed, but when he's wiping the sword off on his sleeve and putting the sword away, you can do that with a button press. So that's pretty cool. And that whole demo that they showed is actually one of the side missions in the game. That's not even the main story. So, yeah, the whole thing is there's no choice. So all that stuff from Infamous is gone. It is a linear story. Like there are fail states to all the missions. But they've really focused on making it a collection of stories about people. So you're really going to connect with the characters that you're running into, and build this kind of relationship with Tsushima as you repel the Mongols, and guide Jin Sakai, who's the main character, from his traditional samurai training, helping him grow into the warrior that he needs to be to repel the Mongols. So, I mean, talking to him and the amount of passion that they're pumping into this game, I was so stoked. Like, I was already excited, but just talking to them, I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Everything we saw was absolutely stunning. And I just loved that sort of the stylish, fluid combat that we got to see in the demo, or at least in the press conference. So, yeah, I am super, super hyped about this one. I have no doubt that it'll be outstanding, and I have no problem with it being a linear experience. I think that in our industry, linear tends to be a bad word. Like, ooh, a linear game. That's shit. I want an open world experience. Well, they don't all need to be linear. They don't all need to be open world experiences. You can give me a linear experience that breaks off into different paths and yet still keeps me along, a set of tracks.
Yeah, just to be clear, it is an open world game. Just the missions you take on have a beginning and an end point.
Gotcha.
So you got to complete the mission to move on to the next story beat, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
James, you want to tell us about Control?
Sure. It looks completely insane. I really appreciate the weird bureaucratic element to the storytelling, because basically you play the new director of the Federal Bureau of Control, which is this like Office of the Supernatural that is itself housed inside a place called the Oldest House, which is this like bigger on the inside monstrosity of a brutalist building that like contains worlds and worlds and worlds inside of it, and it expands and expands and expands. It's completely insane. And the director of the FBC has these like crazy psychic powers and this ever transforming gun made out of these like disconnected cubes that can do all sorts of crazy shit. And the visuals are completely bananas. Like everything about this game is pretty nuts, like right from Jump Street. And from what we saw in the theater demo that I checked out, it's going to be a lot more action focused than previous Remedy games.
Sweet.
So there's going to be a lot more combat. There's going to be a lot more like crazy powers that you have to make use of. You can like do the shielding thing. You can like throw objects around. You can leap through the air like almost like levitation style. Yeah, I'm pretty curious to see about where this one goes and like what the final product is going to look like. I think it's going to be a pretty dope title when it comes out.
Looking at the trailer, it immediately reminded me of the TV show Fringe. So I don't know how close that is.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Less of the like, Fringe has more of a weird like almost like homemade mad scientist feel to it, whereas like this one is very slick in comparison.
Okay.
But that like government agency of the supernatural thing is very much in effect, in full force, and control.
Nice. It's kind of weird because Sony didn't really show that much in the way of third-party stuff, but I feel like I connected with more of the games that they showed third-party wise than in Microsoft with their mountains of games.
Yeah. They did pretty well with that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Resident Evil 2 remake looks really good.
Yeah.
And scary. I mean, Michael seemed genuinely spooked. He really did.
Well, it was like such a well-designed trailer because it was just like from the perspective of the rat, and you couldn't really tell what was going on, and you weren't really sure, about what game they were advertising. And then there's the commotion, and then the guy gets his neck torn open by the zombie, and you're like, holy fuck, this is Resident Evil.
Yep.
It was amazing.
They're really pushing the boundaries with Michael was saying with the physics, like on the deformation of bodies and stuff, like, no longer is shooting a zombie in the face okay because you might miss his brain, so you got to hit the brain. And was saying they're really going deep on making this a world where you've got to be pretty precise, and if it's anything like the original game, you're gonna have no bullets all the time. So yeah, because I mean, I can manage a headshot or two in a pinch, but a brain shot, I'm gonna die a lot. Yeah, and it looks scary as hell. So that's excellent. Really glad to see that.
More Death Stranding.
I was just trying to figure out whether I should discuss Trover Saves the Universe, because that was definitely the low point of the press conference. My God, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that was like basically an in-joke for Rick and Morty fans that, if you're not like a big into that universe, fell pretty flat. And even then, I think it was even more than that. I think it was like, hey, did you remember the first Rick and Morty VR game that came out for PSVR? That was cool, right? Well, if you played that, you're going to love this. And then, like, crickets. And it was like, oh, shit, we made it miscalculated. Like, they could have announced that. Like, it's cool that it got the sort of clout that allowed it to be announced during Sony. But it's weird that Sony gave it that platform in the first place, because this is the sort of thing I would expect to see, like, just dropped with like a Twitter announcement with like, yo guys, we're making another VR game, Trover Saves the Universe, is gonna be fucking rad. And we're like, all right, cool, sweet, that's great to know, Dan Harmon. And then people would play it and buy it and love it, so on and so forth. But like, this felt like a pretty serious mess.
Oh, and the platforming just looked like dog shit. Like, it looked awful.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if it is another VR game, there's no way it's not gonna be dog shit. Like, isn't VR platforming utterly fucked like all the time? Like, is there, like, please point out to me a counterexample of like VR platforming that's like tight, hot, sweet, and cool. But, like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So how about that Death Stranding?
I will give you a shiny silver dollar if you can tell me anything about the fucking story after watching that.
I just feel like it's just Kojima stringing us along. Like, it's just like, oh god, here we go again. Like, there's just, I find the more I'm seeing, the more I'm just kind of souring on it all. I don't know, I'm just I feel like this game is still ages away, despite any of the rumors. And we're just sort of seeing more of the sort of the some of the nonsensical stuff and some of the cool mechanics, which look neat, but I don't know. I'm just souring on it.
I mean, they did presumably show at least the first bit of pseudo gameplay with a lot of mountain climbing and delivering of mummies and boxes.
Yeah. It's weird because it's all made within engine footage, so that we have a pretty good idea of what the game is going to actually look like, but the moment-to-moment experience is still a complete mystery. And I've heard a couple of weird rumors. One, that there's going to be very little combat in this game, which is baffling because this is absolutely Kojima's bread and butter. Even if it's like weird combat, or even as like non-traditional, there's still like combat is still mechanically the focus of most of his games, and so the idea that this is going to be outside of that baffles me a little bit. And I've also heard for the 5th time that this is going to be his last game ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
sure it will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's like in his 50s now. You know, he's probably wanting to spend some time with his family before the overwork and the crazy hours that all Japanese developers keep. Eventually, you know, give him a heart attack and kill him. But you've said it before, man, and we were ready to believe you then. We're ready to believe you now, but you know,
yeah.
Probably won't, though.
I mean, I did appreciate how weird the trailer was, and I think the addition of 1, the Bionic Woman, and 2, Leah Seydoux are good things for the story in general. So I'm hopeful that the story is actually going to be somewhat compelling in this game, now that they've got 4 pretty big names attached to this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's the game? Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Okay. So Neo 2 looks cool, I guess. If you're into Neo, more Neo's good.
If you're a Neo guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or gal.
I mean, they didn't really show anything, but Neo 1 is freaking sweet, so yeah, Neo 2. And they wrap things up with Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
You know, it's funny, the trailer that we saw during the press conference, I was like, okay, really? You're bringing out the same sort of characters we've seen in all the other Spider-Man games I've ever played, especially the Activision ones. So the trailer, I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then I played the demo, and the demo, it felt and played amazing. The web mechanics, I mean, that was my biggest question mark going in, was like, can they pull off the web slinging mechanics? And they absolutely do. I wasn't fighting with the camera. It felt really smooth. It was easy to pick up and fling around the town without really much of a learning curve at all.
No.
And the combat felt, again, fluid and varied. I didn't feel like I was sort of mashing at all. It felt like it required a bit of skill, which was cool, because you really can't say that about a lot of other Spider-Man games where it was mindless combat. Doesn't feel like this is the case this time around. I am all in. I'm a believer in this one. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, oh man, I was a little worried because I heard a few people saying that the demo was kind of meh, but the web swinging alone is freaking awesome. You can just swing around New York City for hours on end and have a good old time doing that, just beating up bad guys. So if they can nail that Spider-Man vibe and that kind of snark, I think this will be a pretty fantastic game.
Fully agree.
The other thing I have written down, I guess, came up in the intermission, and that is From Software's PSVR game, Darasine.
Yeah, it's the trailer reveals almost nothing. I've seen headlines for articles suggesting that it's kind of a major departure, and like, no shit, it's a major departure. It's a combat-free, slow, weird, measured pace kind of From Software title that's like, you know what? I don't have really anything to say on this one. I'm just baffled that they did something that's such a serious departure from their previous titles. I mean, it's a From Software game, so I'm curious. I'll check the reviews, I'll check it out, see what it's all about when it comes out, but like, as the old saying goes, no game, no hype.
Yeah, that's true. Let's give Sony a grade.
I give them an A.
An A. Wow.
Yep, an A. Yep. I mean, the 3, I consider it 3 real sort of AAA games. They gave me Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us 2. I thought those 3 alone are worth giving Sony an A, and it doesn't end there. There's a ton of other games that were announced that we saw. that I'm pretty excited about. So I'm giving them an A. I think they delivered. We didn't get to feel the brunt of the what does Sean say here? What does he say? The stupid intermission was just stupid. So we didn't really get to experience the stupid intermission because we were shuffling off to our seats in the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked what I saw, and I think Sony yet again delivered. I'm giving them an A.
Oh,
Yep, I'm with you, Trevor. It's not A plus because the intermission was really fucking dumb. But aside from that, really, 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 really solid lineup of games. So many things from the Sony conference that I'm super fucking hot for. I didn't get to play Spider-Man, but from what I saw, Spider-Man, it looks like it's gonna be fantastic. Ghost of Tsushima looks fantastic. Last of Us 2 looks fantastic. Control looks really fucking great. RE2 looks really great. Death Stranding may one day be a game, which is great news. So yeah, A, easy A.
Yeah, I'm on board the A train as well. I'm going to go with an A minus.
Okay, fair.
Mostly because of Trover Saves the Universe and yet more Kingdom Hearts 3. Death Stranding, I'm glad that it's still weird. I was hoping to see a little bit more concrete what the structure of this thing is. Because I think we all know it cannot possibly be just clambering up mountains the whole time. That would be ridiculous, and yeah, that'll definitely factor into the game, but that can't be the game. But the other three heavy hitters, The Last of Us 2, Ghost, and Spider-Man, were freaking unreal. Yeah, A minus. And Sean chimes in with B plus. Stupid intermission was stupid.
Stupid intermission.
He says
probably how he says it too. Stupid intermission.
In the Sony section of this document, he says stupid 3 times. So,
stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, Nintendo.
It's tied up.
Last but not
Nintendo.
least, the last one. It feels like we've been working on this E3 wrap up for it feels like hours and hours, and we finally reached our last press conference.
And well, they talked about nothing, so we're done here. Thanks everybody for listening.
Fortnite on the Switch.
Yeah,
they talked about Fortnite on the Switch.
They did.
Which everybody lined up at E3 to play Fortnite on the Switch, which was already available. Yet there was still these gigantic lines to go play Fortnite at E3. Try and figure that
clearly
one out. I guess to get a pin.
Clearly, they didn't listen to our E3 prep podcast in which I said, don't line up for things that are coming out or are already out. You fools!
Right. Why are you doing that? I don't get it. But apparently, if they did play the demo, as Sean politely pointed out to us, if they did play the demo, they did get some sort of, I don't fucking know, like a skin or a pin or a free bag of popcorn. I don't know what the fuck they got, but they got something for playing a game that they could have already been playing at home.
If I could audibly shake my head, I would. Anyways, I mean, there's a couple things that that are worth touching on here. Super Mario Party, anybody?
It's leaning on the using multiple Switches to play thing, which again is Nintendo overestimating how many people in any given social group will own a Switch. For us, it's a lot because we're fucking game reviewers. But like, besides myself and my roommate, I don't really know anybody outside of COG who owns a Switch.
Yeah, someone I know is a absolutely huge Nintendo fan, and even getting a Zelda, like possibly the best Zelda game ever made, and possibly the best Mario game ever made in a single year was not enough to get him to buy a Switch. So,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
And they're like they're like showing off in the trailer like you took 2 Switches together to play video games in Super Mario Party. I'm like, you guys are so optimistic about your fucking install base.
And also, fuck Mario Party. It's the biggest piece of bullshit. Oh God.
You know, I think the biggest problem I have with Nintendo this year at E3 is that I don't know if I speak for everyone, but it does feel like it was a bit of a letdown this year. I mean, but it's hard to live up. Like last year we got, Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda. We had these fantastic AAA, games that we've seen, Nintendo push in previous E3s. This year we got Smash Brothers. Now Smash Brothers, great. They got a fantastic roster of fighters, 60 plus fighters from every fucking genre that you can imagine. They've got an unbelievable roster, but Smash is no Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Smash is no Legend of Zelda. So I feel that we didn't get that AAA amazing game that not only appeals to like younger gamers, but older gamers like us old dogs. I'm just not that excited about Smash.
Yeah. It's not that system seller that they need. That was my main concern with Nintendo going into this show, was that, like, can they keep it on a boil like that? They came out with Zelda and Mario in the same year. That's never happened before, and based on how their first party pipeline's looking now, that's never going to happen again. Because
I feel like you might be incorrect. For our demographic, no, they have not made a sufficient effort in 2018 to put out any system sellers. However,
Pokemon
and Smash are going to bust down the fucking doors. You better believe it.
I don't think so. I think people will buy Smash Brothers that have a Switch, but I don't think it's going to get people to go out and pick one up. Neither's Let's Go. I mean, it's fun, but I don't think it's going to move systems. It's not going to up the install base in the same way that a Zelda or a Mario does.
I don't know. Like, I also think, especially you and I, Paul, we're a little bit longer in the tooth. And I feel like I mean, for me, I just don't get the whole Pokemon craze and why people just fucking gush over this thing. But I also recognize, look, I'm a little bit older. I'm in my 40s. I miss the whole sort of Pokemon hype and what that means to people, especially the young kids out there, the young folk like James. James is a big fan, and I think that there's a lot of people that sort of fit in with James, and I think it might be a seller for a lot of sort of the younger generation.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do love Pokemon. Very fond memories of Pokemon Blue. But Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is not the core Pokemon game that the Pokemon fan is looking for. Having played it, it's kind of a hybrid between a Pokemon game and Pokemon Go. So I don't know if people are going to find that Pokemon experience that they're looking for, the Gotta Catch 'em all fever. I don't know that this game is going to do that for people.
Paul, I think you could be right, but I think what we're gonna see is this is kind of for Nintendo a between year, basically. Like Smash Brothers will sell systems, not as many as the previous year, but the same could be said for Pokemon, for Fire Emblem, for Fortnite to a lesser extent, for those major games, and to a lesser extent for Super Mario Party. All those games are capable of selling systems, not anywhere near to the same extent as Mario and Zelda themselves. But that'll be a great holdover while they brew up all those super hot titles, like the ones that were missing from this year's E3. That was the thing about Nintendo this year that everybody was talking about, were the games that they weren't talking about. So like the new Yoshi game we heard nothing about, the new Metroid Prime game we heard nothing about.
That was a big miss, I think.
Yeah, because all they gave us for last year was a logo. You would have figured a year later we would have had some time for development. We would have had some like something to show, but nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, time will tell, but I feel like having Mario and Zelda in the same year is going to come back to bite them in the end, that the pipeline is going to run dry at some point, unless they've got some big new IP waiting in the wings that's going to pick up the slack when they run out of core franchises. So they've got Yoshi coming already. They've got Metroid coming already. Is there a Kirby game? Maybe they already did a Kirby game. So, I mean, what else do they have in the wings?
You know what they need to do? They need to take that like Starlink, Star Fox tie-in and they need to ride that fucking wave to a new Star Fox game.
Oh.
That's what they need to do.
Yeah, that R-Wing is going to sell about 5 million on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they need to step up their fucking game and get us some more Star Fox. Or even, hey, you know what? You know what I'd be fine with? Take the Star Fox that came out for the Wii U and re-release that for the Switch, but without the like busted fucking control scheme that like hamstringed the fucking Wii U version, you know?
Just release it fixed.
Yeah. Fix that shit, give it to us on the Switch, see how many copies it sells, use that as your inspiration to come up with a brand new one, like the next year or whatever.
Well, the Switch one, in order to control it properly, you're going to need 4 switches. They're going to need to be in a grid, and because Nintendo just master of coming up with the most unusable control schemes they can possibly imagine.
Paul, Jesus Christ, what if they listen to this podcast?
Oh, if only.
Oh boy. But yeah, I guess Smash Bros is kind of the big thing, and Garrett and I played it. It feels more or less like the Wii U version, but it's not a port. They did rebuild it from the ground up, so they've kind of tuned it a little more for the competitive crowd, the esports crowd. It's maybe slightly faster, slightly more technical than the last game was. You're definitely going to have to relearn your favorite characters a little bit. They've added some additional mechanics, like the air dashing is back from a couple of iterations ago. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see this usurp Melee in the competitive scene. Any other games on this list that anybody wants to mention?
No.
I am excited for Fire Emblem Three Houses, but that's just because I like Fire Emblem and I'm excited to see what they do with it on this new system. Mm-hmm. But like I get, again, we're kind of in. Well, I mean, we did see some gameplay, but it didn't seem like a huge departure from the previous versions. So I feel like this will be one that will sort of be more steak than sizzle. Like, not a lot of hype, but when it lands, it's going to land big because people fucking love Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get
that one.
It'll be nice to get a hardcore Fire Emblem on a portable system.
Oh, fuck yes, I'm so down.
So you're right. That'll be pretty sweet. We played Overcooked 2 as well.
Yeah.
That sure is more Overcooked with more things going on, as if you needed more chaos in a game like Overcooked. But yeah, it now has online co-op. So you can you don't have to sit on the same couch if you don't want to.
Oh, well, what else do you need?
Yeah. It's going to result in less black eyes when your buddy fucks up cooking the sushi rice this time. You can't physically punch them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Should we just go ahead and give Nintendo a grade?
I think we should.
They didn't really show that much, so yeah.
You guys go first.
All right, I'm going to give it a solid B because they brought some shit. It just wasn't like first party, but it was still good, you know? Smash Brothers isn't like huge, but it's great. It's going to do well. Same with Octopath, same with Fire Emblem, same with Mario Party, same with Pokemon, same with Daemon X Machina. Yeah, lots of like a bunch of little announcements that they hope will add up to something big, but won't. So, solid B.
I'm going to give them a C+. Smash is a lot of fun, and I mean, I can't overstate how much I want to play Octopath Traveler. Overcooked 2, another big get. And I mean, the Pokemon stuff, the Mario Party stuff, people will like that, and Fire Emblem, of course. But I think they missed the mark on getting the hype train going on Metroid and whatever else is going on. I think they should have shown Yoshi as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was an okay showing. They really had the momentum with them coming into E3, and I think they put the brakes on a little bit more than they needed to. So C+.
Yeah, I think I'll go with a C+ as well. I feel like in in E3 previous E3s they would have received a solid A, but this year I think they get a downgrade because I feel like they missed, and I think Sean touches on it as I'm looking at his comments, his scathing comments. I think they didn't sort of hit on that generation that grew up with Nintendo. Like I feel like there was nothing for me, and it looks like Sean feels the same way as well. I mean, I may dabble into Smash Brothers, but that's about it on this list. I think Metroid was a big miss, and there was just nothing there that really has me super excited for Nintendo for the rest of 2018.
Mm-hmm. Sean chimed in with a C-, and I'll just read his comment. Literally nothing on the Nintendo show that I gave a rip about. It's either weeb shit or stuff for children. Smash notwithstanding, that's just not a game for me. Nintendo needs to step up marketing to the audience who grew up with them, that actually grew up, and who don't get their dicks hard for children's bullshit. I'm looking at you, Pokemon. Right now, it's only third party who are pulling the cart.
Wait a sec. What is weeb shit? Like,
that's like
what is that?
Anime stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weeb shit. What
yeah,
is
like
that?
Weebo. It's like a white anime fan.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Because Sean's kind of an asshole. That's okay.
We got uncensored Sean there. That was uncensored.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was not unbecoming of PR Sean right there.
The salt is strong with him lately.
Salty Sean.
Oh.
You got salt. Plenty of salt.
Yeah. So that's it for E3. Is there like anything else that you guys saw that you want to chime in about?
God, it feels like a lot. It was a tons and tons of games that it feels like we've discussed a lot. I don't feel like we've left no stone unturned.
The one thing that I want to bring up that I played that wasn't shown in a press conference is Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden, which is that XCOM style game that has the duck person.
Yeah, it had a cool trailer when it was first revealed there a little while back.
Yeah, so this is actually a pretty cool game. It is in combat. It's basically an XCOM clone. So you've got your movement radius and different abilities and chances to hit, all those kinds of things. But outside of combat, it's much more of an adventure game. So you can actually walk around the world in real time. It's basically an open world that you can just kind of wander around, and if you get spotted by an enemy or you decide to engage an enemy, then it switches to the turn-based XCOM stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a cool world. It's based on a Swedish tabletop game called Mutant, surprisingly or unsurprisingly. And yeah, the game itself was a lot of fun. So really challenging. I was talking to the dev, and I saw it on the last day. So I asked how many people had actually managed to finish it. And the third person to finish the demo actually did it while I was in the booth. So yeah, it's pretty challenging, but it looks good.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
Anybody else?
Nothing about E3, but I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention, for the benefit of Mr. Alexander Thomas, that there was a news article that showed up recently on the site that I wrote that it's maybe just worth a word or two from me about a game that was shown, I believe, at E3. It was Spyro the Dragon, the Remaster Trilogy. That's another one that's coming out that we didn't talk about, that wasn't shown off at E3. Yeah, it does look pretty good. It
does look pretty good.
Very, like, it's got that Unreal Engine thing where, like, when you move around, you get that fucking motion blur, which I will rally against every time forever. I think it's complete bullshit. But, I mean, aside from that, it looks great. In honor of this trilogy being released in a remastered form for the PS4, First Four Figures is coming out with these collectible statues. They're giant green crystal dragons for the low, perfectly reasonable price of $475 each. You can also, if you're feeling clever and wanting to save a few bucks, get a combo pack of 2 statues for $899.99.
Oh.
Yeah. So if your love for Spyro the Dragon's other dragons besides Spyro, because it's not him, it's just some fucking green dragon. If your love for this other dragon eclipses your need to eat or pay rent, by all means, pre-orders are open. You too could own one of these gigantic fucking green crystal statues that, depending on the model you acquire, will light up from the inside.
I think they're drastically overestimating how much of a Spyro fan anyone is or ever was.
Okay, fun fact, I went to the YouTube video where they were debuting this thing for pre-order, and there were already comments underneath being like, oh my god, I need this in my life. It's pre-ordered. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Wow.
Yeah, that's happening. Sorry, that's just the last thing I wanted to get in for this podcast.
Good grief. Insanity rules here in 2018.
That's right.
I would say be surprised, but, you know, nothing surprising anymore. Literally nothing.
Literally nothing.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, guys?
No, thanks for tuning in and listening and, bearing with us as we roll through that massive list of games.
Yeah, we will be back to the usual cast structure with, you know, releases and news and all that stuff next week. If you like the cast, remember, share it, give us a review on iTunes, subscribe anywhere that you listen to podcasts, check out our YouTube, check out COGconnected.com for more great news, previews, information, reviews, all that stuff on games, weeb shit, everything under the sun. We've got a little bit of everything, and we do appreciate you coming along for the ride.
And if you have a question, email us. Please email us.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, you can email us. It's pressxpodcast@gmail.com, or get on our Facebook group, because, you know, what better way to ask us questions directly than in a way where we can type you an answer right now. Like if you're asking, hey, Trevor, tell me more about Elder Scrolls Blades, he could type you an answer, and you could know more in like 5 minutes. And wouldn't that be great?
It sure would.
Sure amazing.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you right back here next week for episode 23. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we will see you later.
Peace out.
Bye.